And so the motion passes 6-1. Thank you, Commissioner Walker.
We feel like today is one of the most important days in the history of Central Florida.
This will be a great gathering space.
7 years in the making.
3, 2, 1, day!
Some thought it would never happen, hampered by the fall of the national economy.
Well, I believe we're going to get it done.
But the fight was on for the arts in Central Florida. Years of fundraising for millions of dollars paid off as block by block, we saw a major change to the downtown Orlando skyline.
The Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts open.
This is the making of the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. Thank you for joining us for this special presentation. I'm Marla Weech.
And I'm Allison Walker. This is an exciting tale to tell. It really is a game changer for the city of Orlando, but also a story of determination.
Absolutely. Today, the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts is open, but work remains. The construction fence still outlines the back of the facility as the final touches are being made inside the Dr. Phillips Center, the first of 3 phases here at the complex. Also, the round building in front did not meet deadline for demolition. Crews were supposed to complete the tear down last month, but it will not be complete until the middle of December. Now, before Allison takes us inside to see the majesty of the Dr. Phillips Center and all it has to offer, News 13's Amanda McKenzie shows us what it took to complete the first stage of construction and what is left to do.
Years before Orlando city leaders broke ground on the new Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, it was a grassroots effort to gain support and funds. Defined as a private nonprofit, it became a project with philanthropy at the heart of it. After years of research and planning, Balfour Beatty Construction took on the job and began work in 2011. It created more than 3,000 jobs, logged more than 1 million man-hours, and the majority of the work was supplied by local labor.
So this building was built by our community. It's going to serve our community, and it's at the heart of our community.
It took a year longer than expected to complete, but it is now ready to serve the community and has been dubbed the front porch of the city.
It's very iconic in its nature, the beautiful canopy that seats over the plaza. It's meant to be, as I understand it, a welcoming feature.
A welcoming design feature unique to this art center is the entrance. Walking to the Performing Arts Center, you don't step up or step down. Once inside the 5-story building, more than 3,000 guests can enjoy events at both the Walt Disney Theater and the Alexis and Jim Pugh Theater. The building also houses rehearsal rooms, banquet space, and educational facilities.
It's very open from a perspective of daylighting and all the glazing that's on the outside of the building. A lot of the structure is exposed, a lot of the structural steel and the concrete. A lot of areas in the building are open.
While stage 1 of this project is complete, it wasn't without challenges and delays.
We've actually gone through 3 different economies, believe it or not. And you learn as you move along, and we've had some dynamics to change.
With a goal of $425 million, funds came from donors, the city, county, and state. But it wasn't enough when the deadline came and went.
When the recession hit and the tourist development tax dried up, we looked at a way that we could continue to move forward, and there was no way that we could build the entirety of the Performing Arts Center, so we developed a plan to build it in 2 stages.
The second stage will build the 1,700-seat acoustical theater. The plans are drawn, but funds still have to be raised. So far, no developer has been assigned to the project, but breaking ground on the 3rd theater may not be until early 2016.
A good house is never finished. And so even when we finish the entire building, we're always going to be making it better.
Even as construction moves forward, this is a climatic ending for those who put their heart and soul into the making of getting this project underway. But it's a project that's just one piece of a larger master plan that dates back 25 years. Amanda McKenzie continues our look at the making of the Dr. Phillips Center.
Sitting on 9 acres of prime real estate right across the street from City Hall is the new Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, along with 3 commercial sites on the property. Thousands of guests will be able to take in shows, music, and events.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the big picture. Mayor Dyer and other city leaders have been on a mission to reshape downtown Orlando altogether. And over the past 10 years, the city has seen major growth.
It's part of an overall plan to have a linear sports and entertainment district.
This master plan has already checked off a new Amway Center home to the Orlando Magic. Massive improvements to the Citrus Bowl are underway. The site is cleared for the Creative Village, and shovels dug up purple sand at the groundbreaking of the new downtown soccer stadium.
We're really trying to build a very, very creative community where there's choices.
But one challenge remains. Once complete, will the people come, and how will they get there?
We're going to have over 60 million visitors this year, but a large percentage of them will come here and never see our downtown, because you can go from the airport to Disney or Universal or iDrive without ever passing through downtown.
So that's why the other vision for downtown is to reshape transportation. The mayor says Visit Orlando is promoting downtown and all modes of travel, from Sunrail, limo, and Lynx.
We want to make the city more pedestrian friendly, but when we talk about getting around, it's mobility.
Not to mention walkability. The Performing Arts Center has entrances on the street level to make it more accessible. But that also brings up a big issue: parking. A garage specifically for performing arts patrons was never built.
Their primary garage will be the C&L garage behind City Hall, and there's a walkover through City Hall and through the C&L building that puts you right in front of the Performing Arts Center.
Orlando's Oak Cart Shuttle is also available to take guests from the City Commons parking garage to the front door of the Dr. Phillips Center. Officials say there are 4,000 parking spaces available within a 5-minute walk, and thousands more just a little farther.
Here's a map of the parking garages downtown. 3 are located within a block of the Performing Arts Center on South Orange Avenue. Looking north on Magnolia Avenue, there are 3 more garages off of East Church Street. To the east of the center, you will find another garage on Liberty Avenue and East Jackson Street. The furthest garage is about 7 blocks away on West Washington Street.
But if hunting for a parking spot isn't your style, the Performing Arts Center offers a valet service. The drop-off is here on Magnolia Avenue, right in front of the facility. All you have to do is look for the guys in the orange shirt. Now, on performance days, there will also be alternative transportation. You can hop on a pedicab or take a ride in an electric cart. And of course, all of these options are available to make sure you enjoy more time at your performance here at the Dr. Phillips Center. And Allison, there's a long list of performances already announced for the first season, but we want to see the inside. You've been following the creation of this downtown attraction from the very start.
Oh, absolutely. I remember the very first time we got to take our news cameras into the Dr. Phillips Center, and this Marla was back in mid-April. Scaffolding was up everywhere, and we saw what was supposed to be the wave wall, and the grand staircase was sort of coming together, and now it's a reality. It's polished. The new smell of iron and carpet and paint is everywhere. And for the first time in months, we had 2 hours to run from room to room, rolling on every single thing in sight. So let's go inside together for an in-depth tour of the theaters, the lobby, even places only VIPs will ever get to see.
God, I had tears in my eyes. This is once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime for the board members who've helped build one of only 37 venues of its kind on the planet. One of the reasons for that is because of the acoustics. So let's first take you inside the 2 completed theaters. This is the 300-seat Alexis and Jim Pugh Theater. Your eyes are immediately drawn to the colorful ceiling of abstract artwork. There are actually 34 pieces up there. Now, if you want want more stage area, the orchestra level seating can be transformed into a flat floor. And you wouldn't know this, but the theater is surrounded by potentially noisy places like a bathroom and a kitchen. So designers used acoustical insulation and promise no unwanted noise even with this next to it. This is the grand poobah of theaters. It's the Walt Disney Theater, 9 times the size of the other one. This is where you'll see the Broadway shows. You'll notice that it has more of an industrial feel than you're used to. That's on purpose.
Concrete floors and combination of concrete and carpet and the walls, all is made for one reason, is for the acoustics to be absolutely perfect.
Unlike the old Bob car down the road, this theater has, wait for it, aisles, cup holders, and enough space for you to walk to your seat without making those poor people stand up. We also got to go backstage. This is the green room where the celebs and performers will hang out. So those are the two theaters, but it's out here, the Della Phillips Grand Lobby, that provides that first impression. Notice the purples, the clean whites, especially on the grand stairwell, and a variety of textures around here. Harry's Bar is also on Tier 1 with this giant wave wall as its backdrop. It has ever-changing color schemes. Now, for the best views of downtown Orlando, head to the balcony of the Revego Bar on Tier 3. It's one of 5 stationary bars. And on the same level, bring your beverage into the DeVos family room with huge floor-to-ceiling windows. Oh, and just so you know, the space where only donors are allowed is one level down, so your view is technically better. And speaking of limited access areas, get a load of Harriet's Ladies Lounge. We actually got to snap some photos of it while it was still in construction. Named by fashionista and philanthropist Harriet Lake, this restroom has chandeliers with clear and pink crystal droplets and pink accents throughout. She approved everything. And in phase 2, Harriet gets an expansion. Okay, so Marla, speaking of restrooms,
Yes.
we all hate to stand in line, right? There are 123 stalls just in the lobby itself, okay? And then 49 throughout the whole venue. So we're talking about front stage and backstage, so we're gonna be okay.
That should make all the ladies very, very happy. And all that we've seen inside, Allison, this is just phase 1. When we come back on the making of the Dr. Phillips Center, this patch of grass is key to the center's expansion. Plus, the big moneymakers are yet to come. We'll explain the grand vision leaders have for the Arts Plaza aimed at getting you to sleep, eat, and play in downtown Orlando.
Welcome back to the making of the Dr. Phillips Center. Now, Marla, as you know, we are standing right smack dab in the middle of the Sun F Arts Plaza, and there's lots to come as the Arts Center complex grows in the future.
Well, the entire complex sits on 9 acres across Orange Avenue from Orlando City Hall. And they want to use every inch of that space, including building a 3rd theater on this grassy plot right next to the Performing Arts Center and South Street. That is phase 3 of this project. The next 2 phases are geared towards sleeping and eating and more ways to play in downtown Orlando. News 13's Amanda McKenzie takes a look at the possible moneymakers and new downtown neighbors.
The Bob Carr Theater is a staple of downtown entertainment dating back to 1926, but the size and scope is being dwarfed by the new Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts.
Night and day, no comparison. This is truly a world-class building.
For now, the Bob Carr will stay in operation. That is until plans for stage 2 of the Performing Arts Center get off the ground.
The 3rd theater, capable of holding 1,700 seats, is still raising funds for construction. Officials say the rest of the money will have to come from donations. More than half of the funds for the project came from the Tourist Development Tax, CRA funding, and state grants. All of that brings the grand total to $500 million just for the Performing Arts Center, which is just one of the downtown venues that make up the $1.2 billion master plan. It's a lot of dough, but city officials predict it will all pay off in the long run.
Businesses really want to know that they have the workforce in the region, that there's infrastructure in the region, and that there's a great quality of life for their employees as well.
The Orlando Economic Development Commission is promoting the City Beautiful as a stronger business destination, and that comes with a new campaign in the new year called, quote, Orlando, you don't know the half of it, and it will highlight venues like the Performing Arts Center, the Amway Center, the renovated Citrus Mall, and the future site of the Creative Village. Officials say they borrowed inspiration from a number of cities to create what downtown is today.
We've gone to other cities that have been successful.
Took a trip to Nashville to look at what they've done in their art scene and found that they've been very, very successful in recruiting companies and talent to their market.
While officials can't put a dollar amount on how all of these venues will impact the Orlando economy, officials say the region is already generating a lot of interest.
This will be completed, will be another feather in our cap.
Well, they already put the Center Arts Plaza to work the first weekend that the center opened. Allison, you were here for the Sheryl Crow concert and people just packed the place.
Oh my gosh, thousands of us got to see Sheryl Crow for free, and the crowd was totally into it. She even came back out for 2 encores. The green space is designed to not only accommodate shows, but also to double as Orlando's new town square. You might consider the heart of the city of Orlando, maybe Lake Eola, Wall Street, or perhaps Church Street, but a town square, not so much. After the public got its first look at a rendering of the Center Arts Plaza, did they think it could become Orlando's ultimate gathering space?
Oh, of course.
Definitely. Yeah. Especially if there's like food and drink over there, could be a good hangout.
This could really be finally that for Orlando.
Mayors Buddy Dyer and Teresa Jacobs, city commissioners, and developers gathered back in April to reveal their vision of what should go in front of the main entrance. You see a fountain that integrates water, lighting, and music effects, restaurants, bars, and other shops.
I mean, I'd like to see locally run restaurants, not major chains, that kind of stuff, like locally run bars.
Right now, you see sodded and non-sodded land to the north and south. Those will eventually be built on.
So the large fields on the outsides of the palm trees, one side is a commercial building. The other side happens to be a hotel, a boutique hotel.
The center space is designed for outdoor concerts like Sheryl Crow's grand premiere event.
And that center field fits 3,000 people.
As far as additional concerts, we know that 6 free shows will be part of the Florida Blue concert series. Those are planned for Thursday evenings, and so far, the U.S. Navy band's committed to March 7th of next year, and on dates to be determined, Original Wailers and Tiempo Libre. But from the start, developers have said there's going to be something going on out there most nights of the week.
Some live music will get a lot of young people, and I think that's something that Orlando needs, because we're a young, hip town.
The making of the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center continues, from epic Broadway performances to the sounds of smooth jazz, and even a few big-time celebrities. Allison breaks down the entertainment lineup. Plus, we'll show you how to get the most bang for your buck at the new Dr. Phillips Center. The most highly anticipated announcement about the Dr. Phillips Center dropped back on March the 18th. That's when we learned the complete Broadway season lineup.
And each of those shows takes place inside the center's most grandiose of theaters. We're talking about that Walt Disney Theater. So let's get to it. Here's everything you need to know about entertainment. On a special evening 8 months ago, the cast of Motown the Musical flew in to help reveal the first ever season lineup at the brand spanking new venue.
No matter how young or old you are, you know this music.
Motown debuts in March, so the show that kicks off the whole thing inside the venue's grandest theater is the Phantom of the Opera. Following Phantom is the Book of Mormon, Disney's Newsies, Motown the Musical, Pippin, Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Anything Goes, and finally, I Love Lucy live on stage. Most are making their first stop ever in Orlando. All right, fast forward 3 months, and the Dr. Phillips Center was ready to reveal 18 non-Broadway shows, starting with the Jazz Roots series. It kicks off with Georgia on My Mind, celebrating Ray Charles on November 20th. Then it's Pink Panther 50, tribute to Henry Mancini. An Evening with Chris Botti, and A Night in Rio, Sergio Mendes. Grammy-winning megastar John Cicada joined us in town for the announcements.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Ray Charles tribute, only because I just love all the performers involved.
I don't see you on the roster. What the heck is up with that?
I was just talking to Larry about that. It's going to happen.
It's happening. I want him to get the gig. Someone who did land the gig is comedian Jerry Seinfeld. He'll joke about the little things in life on January 17th. Outside of stand-up is a critically acclaimed show that has been selling out all over the world. It's Slava's Snow Show, where the audience gets caught in a faux blizzard. For kids, there's a show based on the TV show Dinosaur Train. Jim Henson's Dinosaur Train Live Buddy's Big Adventure takes you back to the days when dinos roamed the earth and rode on trains. This comes next May. Then, in June of 2015, it's Chuggington Live, The Great Rescue Adventure, based on the popular series on Disney Junior. The Orlando Ballet, it's going to use the acoustical theater once that gets built. So in the meantime, shows like The Nutcracker, Swan Lake, and Battle of the Sexes will happen here, sharing the theater, designed for the biggest stage shows ever on tour in America.
Those shows seem too far away, Allison. I want to get in there now.
I hear you, and that's why some folks jumped at getting tickets to the star-studded Broadway and Beyond, the first show inside the big Walt Disney Theater. Now, Broadway big shot Richard J. Alexander cast Central Florida's own Norm Lewis, who's playing the Phantom on Broadway right now, along with nearly a dozen other familiar faces. All right, Marla, some of us might be thinking, gee, I just can't afford that big theater ticket right now. So the good news is there's so much else to get involved in.
We found out about a few ways to make the most out of the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. Up first, how to interact with theater goers before, after, and even during a show.
All right, so it's the night of the show and the lights flicker twice. You have to get to your seat. You gotta grab your wine, right? And you're usually handed one of these. Thank you, Rocky. And this is either a brochure or a playbill. But getting one of these is kind of automatic. So have you ever thought about the person who's giving this to you, who first of all, you didn't pay a thing to get into the theater? John Warner is celebrating his 96th birthday. He's an historical ambassador for the Dr. Phillips Center. He's a volunteer, one of nearly 500.
There's nothing that they get back except for the reward of doing this project, honestly.
One of the best ways to get better access than everyone you know is to become like Mr. Warner. There are 7 titles you can apply for. They range from ushers and ticket scanners to greeters and program distributors. And what's cool about this is you'll get to take part exclusively in yet-to-be-announced volunteer-based events. Secondly, making the most of the new venue might mean getting that members-only title. A spokesman says the Dr. Phillips Center opens with more members than any other art center had at its opening ever. Memberships range from $75 to, get this, 10 grand. But that lowest, let's face it, most realistic price tag gets you access to pre-sale tickets and heads-up emails regarding special events. About a week before Grand's opening, they had, look at this, nearly 900 members from 19 counties, 7 out of state, 2 out of country, and 20 people have $10,000 champion-level bragging rights.
Some of them kind of came out of the woodwork and surprised us.
A third way to make the most of the Dr. Phillips Center is arts education. Not only will Warner find programs he might enjoy, but your kiddos can as well. Starting in January, the Dr. Phillips Center plans to offer 81 classes a week, ranging from dance and training seminars to music and theater.
Allison, thank you. And thank all of you for joining us for the making of the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. Now, Allison sometimes likes to end things with 2 little words that are famous for her. So go for it.
And sing.
Good night, everybody.